This is Build Your Difference, a podcast created by Blue Artists, a brand platform with one goal: to help great visionaries like you build impressive brands. Every month, we'll bring you insightful tips, knowledge, and compelling stories from successful entrepreneurs and the Blue Artists team on how to create and market a winning brand that does more than just launch a new product or service. It starts an ongoing conversation. Because you're not just making a brand, you're making a difference. Let's start building.
I know you've mentioned cost briefly a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've had a number of people tell me who've gotten into the whole building a website, how they started off trying to do it themselves and they got overwhelmed. And so they go to a website building service. They mentioned how they spent something along the lines of $1,000. I hear that a lot. And the one thing I hear is not only did they spend $1,000, but it was the most wasted amount of $1,000 they've spent. And that's no small change to throw away on something that doesn't give you the result you're looking for.
Right.
And so what can you tell us about BrandDesk's hosting pricing system that makes it competitive against other platforms of that same similar?
Yeah. Okay. So what I'd like to do is I would like to give you sort of a baseline in terms of our pricing. And then I'd also like to give you kind of a holistic idea. Okay. Because what your friends may have been experiencing when they're dropping $1,000 on, creating and launching a website and it's not quite what they're looking for. To me, that's a holistic issue. And I would love to answer that from a holistic perspective. But before I do that, I do want to sort of set the ground level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in a quick link just so you can get eyes on this. I put this link in our chat here as we're looking at this together. And if you could go to that link and just scroll down to the first sort of section that shows you pricing on the website, and it will have the pricing for domain names, the pricing for building your own website, and the pricing for email. And let's just kind of talk about that for a second. Let me know when you've got it up. Yeah, I'm visual, and I just I know our listeners aren't going to be able to see what we're seeing, but you can look at this too if you're listening. Just go to www.branddeskhosting.com, and right around the top of the page, if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see our pricing. It'll say new to BrandDesk Hosting, and directly underneath that you'll see our pricing. So our domain names, and domains are important, they start at $17.98 per year. And that's for a .com. Does the price fluctuate? It does fluctuate. So if you're looking for a .org or a .net or some other sort of variant of that, it's going to be a different starting price. But most people are looking for .coms. And so that has the lowest starting price at $17.98 per year. And when it comes to building a website, I'm really proud to say that we're starting our prices at $9.58 per month. That is a good number. Is it $8? No, it's $9.58. But we think that the value that you're getting for an environment where you can build your own website that is compliant in both desktop and mobile versions and can be easily converted into an app is a really great steal. Now, does the price go up? It does. It does. We do have higher level tiers. So there's 3 tiers. The first tier is $9.58 per month. The second tier is around $15 a month. And the third tier is around $25 per month. So it does all stay relatively contained. But the purpose of the different tiers is that, there are some people who might want a little bells and whistles on their website that we're not including at that initial starting price. And so if those bells and whistles mean something for you, then you can choose one of the higher tiers. But guess what? You're not going to be spending more than about $25 a month, on the high end. And I think altogether that is insanely competitive. And In terms of email, remember I said it's so important that we're providing the ability to have your inbox directly inside of Brandesk. We're starting that at $2.98 per month for a single email address. Now, guess what? That's just for one. If you want a batch of emails, let's say, you want 5 email addresses per month. Well, instead of $2.98 per month, it's actually, I'm actually have to pull it up so I can look, $5.98 per month. So $5.98 per month gets you 5 email addresses. That's about $1 per email address per month. And these are custom branded email addresses for your business. And if you want all the bells and whistles, we've got a plan called Email Ultimate Business. It's $7.98 per month. It includes 5 email addresses, but it also comes with unlimited storage, IMAP compatibility, beautiful web storage so you can store your files. It's like basically like Dropbox. Instead of paying an extra $10 to Dropbox, you can just store all your stuff right inside of your Brandesk workspace. And a calendar system like, Google Calendar. So you can use that to host your meetings and to schedule with your employees. Anyway, let me not get into the whole sales pitch. The point is, these are really good prices. And I think foundationally, these are acceptable prices to begin building your online infrastructure. So that is the foundational answer, but I also wanted to take a moment and answer holistically, because obviously when you're looking at these prices, you're not thinking, well, obviously these aren't anywhere near $1,000 to pay to get your website set up. But we do have, and actually if you scroll down a little bit, John, you'll get to a section called Let Us Create Your Content, Original Design, and Development. This is the more holistic approach. This is really designed for people that are more likely to go to an agency and have an agency create their entire web experience. And so we said, okay, for people who are like me and they just want somebody else to do it, here's what this looks like. So click on the Get Started, and it's going to show you literally the holistic cost for what this would take to really build out your website. And we're really upfront about this, okay? Is it let's just break it down. So we start first with the content. A lot of people don't even realize that, but the content on your website's important, the written content. So we've got 3,000 words for $200. That means we will write 3,000 words worth of copy for your website to market you, and you'll pay $200. And remember, this is Brandesk, so you have flexible payment plans, and we'll invest in you. So if you want to put down just 35% of that, you can do that, and the balance you can pay off over time with no interest. Then we will do the design for you, and the design is $300. It's a beautiful homepage design with a sub page, which is basically like the interior of your website, the interior inner pages. Yeah. Usually those inner pages follow a sort of similar template, and so we'll create that template for you with a beautiful homepage for $300. Then when that's finished, now it's time to look at actually development, programming. And if you choose to have your website built on Brandesk hosting, using our website builder, then you're going to get 10 hours of development for $350. So what does that mean? That's $35 an hour for 10 hours to have your design, your content, all built within Brandesk Hosting's website builder environment. So altogether, that's what 200 plus 300 is 500 plus 350 is 850. So right there, you're looking at about $850 holistically, okay, to get your website completely off the ground. And I wanted to present this to you in this way because, could somebody spend around $1,000 with us to build their website? Yes. If you look at this plan, it is conceivable. You could do that. Is this totally and completely optional? Yes, it is. It is totally and completely optional because you could bypass all of this and just take out a $9.58 per month website builder hosting plan and build your site yourself. But if you do want that help and you do want us to come in and write your content, design your page, and build it for you, then we've broken that down into 3 different cost structures. Each of them are optional. So you can do 2 and not 3. You could do the design and the development and write your content yourself, or you can build it yourself and let us do the content and the design. It's your choice. However you want to mix and organize that, it's your choice. But each product has complete payment plan flexibility. So honestly, we'll invest in you in building your website. So even though it says $850, if you wanted to put down just 35% of that, which I don't know, let's say that's around $300. If you wanted to put down around $300 on total and pay the balance of this over time, you could do that with Brandesk. And I think that's pretty cool.
And I think that's a good distinction that if last I recall, I don't see other website building services offering that.
Yeah. Thank you. It's a lot of times it's just easier for a lot of other website companies to just say, look, this is the flat cost. Yeah. And I get it. I understand why, because, they're not trying to nickel and dime you, and that's a good thing. They look, you agree to their flat price, they're going to give you everything they've got. And I think that's a good thing. But there's a lot of room there in that sort of ambiguity for there to be a lot of overpriced selling going on. Maybe you are paying a little more than you probably should have, or maybe you don't know totally what you're getting for that price. And with us, we're breaking it down so you can clearly see what each component is worth, and we're giving you payment plans and flexibility. All of this is optional. It's your choice. And I think the best thing about this entire approach to building a website is, what can you do with the website once it's built? So once it's built, how do we continue to help you? With a lot of these other companies, they're going to try to figure out some way to continue to make money off you after you've spent that initial $1,000 to get your website built. And if they're not providing your hosting, if they're not actually providing your infrastructure, then the only real place for them to continue to charge you on a monthly basis is going to be maintenance. They'll charge you maintenance. And it might be something like $100, $150, depending on the company. But to me, that is really crazy. I understand why somebody would pay that. Someone's like, well, I want to make sure my website's always up and running. But really, that is just a giant profit margin for a business moving forward, because, a lot of the technology today is so good that your site doesn't necessarily need, if it's built on a good hosting plan with a good system, it doesn't necessarily need monthly maintenance. It's good to go. So what we're doing is we're going to guarantee you that if your site is built on Brandesk Hosting's website builder, when you pay your monthly $9.58 hosting plan fee each month, that's going to take care of you. Your website's in good hands. You don't have to worry about hackers. You don't have to worry about somebody coming in and messing everything up. That's going to come with a full backup plan. And actually, I'm going to circle back to this, but that's important, the backup plan. I don't even know how to find the backup plan in Squarespace. And if somebody listening could tell me how, if I make a mistake on my website in Squarespace, how do I go back in time to correct that mistake? I don't know how to do that. I can't figure it out. I don't know that it's possible. You have to
start from scratch then, or are you stuck with that design?
It's like I think you're stuck with whatever the most recent decision you've made and saved and published. So if you've swapped out a picture with a different picture and you've published it, I think you're stuck with that. I don't think you can roll back time and go back to the previous picture that was once there before you changed it. Now, sure, you could always find that picture and replace it, but maybe you can't. Maybe you don't know where the picture is and you just want to go back in time. You can't do that. With Brandesk Hosting, we've got a brilliant backup system that backs up your website, not every day, not every hour, but every single time you make any kind of adjustment. So any little thing you do, there's a backup being taking place, kind of like a Google document. And if you ever need to roll back history to go back to a change you made yesterday or 3 months ago or an hour ago, you can easily do that just like a Google document. And it's I think, to me, that's compelling. And for $9.58 per month, to me, that's the safety and security that I need. And so, we're not going to charge you for maintenance because we don't know that it's totally necessary. When you have our plan, it's pretty comprehensive. That being said, we do have some maintenance plans available, but they're for higher level sites. They offer a much higher degree of hands-on maintenance. So this is maintenance at another level. This is not just making sure your site's good. This is like, think moderating users, removing, questionable content, things like that. This is a higher level of maintenance. We do have plans like that available. And so those options are there, but, Brandesk Hosting is really designed so that once you're up and running, and you're pretty much good to go. The only other thing I would add to that is consider an app. If you don't have an app, or maybe you never thought about an app, if you've built your site with us, maybe you should consider it, because the technology is there and your customers will thank you for it. I mean, the truth of the matter is, if someone's on their telephone, they're less enthusiastic about opening up the browser and going to your website, okay? They would just much rather go to the App Store, download your app, and just have you right there on their home screen. And, if you're dealing with millennials, that's kind of the way, that's like the expectation. So you can have that convenience with Brandesk Hosting. Yes, there's a little bit of a increase to the hosting cost if you choose that particular option. But I think it's worth it. I think it's easily worth it. So thanks for asking, John. That was a great question.
I think in terms of apps, I mean, it's not a question of whether it's worth it or not. It's sort of, it's just a given, it's, you can't get away with any kind of service platform these days without having some functioning app to go with it. Otherwise, you're just gonna be like a sinking submarine or something.
Sinking submarine. I mean, you could have said a sinking stone. I don't. But a submarine, that's quite the image. Like, that is no, but you know what? It's a good image because it's like, that's a whole company. Like, imagine your whole company, right? Oh, your whole office in this sub.
That's good. You saved that analogy there.
And the whole company is just sinking to the bottom of the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah. That's me not having coffee yet. So.
I love it. I think it's a great analogy. So yeah, like you can see how the holistic approach is still viable. We do offer it. But it's the way it's presented is totally optional. You can kind of pick and choose. We really want the customer to be in control. And I think with everything we do on Brandesk, it's all about providing an exceptional customer experience. Are we perfect? No, of course we're not perfect, but we're striving to be. And I think that's the difference.
Yes. And your submarine is still floating, so that's good. Right.
Submarine is still floating. There was another thing that I would love to kind of just touch on with you, John. Sure. If you could scroll down a little bit more on the site, you'll get to a section. There's a beautiful girl. She's smiling. Right underneath her picture, it says, "Getting online is just the start." This is about halfway down the site. Under her picture, there are several smaller pictures, and each of those smaller pictures has a benefit, kind of, or perk, kind of alongside it. And this is basically a list of all of our perks, a list of all of our benefits to being on Brandesk Hosting. I just kind of want to go through this with you. I think it's worth it. We've already talked about the first perk, which is keeping your site and app fully protected with daily, weekly, and monthly backups. We just spent literally a whole section of our conversation talking about that. The next perk is launching your website's mobile app on iOS and Android devices quickly and hassle-free. I don't know that there's any other way to really describe that other than when you're on Brandesk Hosting, when you're ready to have an app, you just choose the app hosting service and we will get to work launching your app on those platforms. This is a real app. It's a real app. This is not I think what Wix does is Wix makes a sort of automated sort of web app of your website, which
Right.
if a customer goes and downloads the Wix app from the store, then they can open the Wix app and pull up the mobile version of your website through the Wix app very easily.
Right.
And that's great, but wouldn't it be so much better if when people search the App Store, instead of typing in Wix, they were typing in your business name, right? You know, like a normal app, and your business showed up just like every other normal app in the search results of the iOS store or the Android store. So that's what we're doing. We're creating a real app for your business, and it's simple. The next thing is getting a fully functional business in a website in under an hour. So the whole website builder is designed so that you're spending as little time in it as possible. You can get in, and within an hour, you can leave with a beautiful, fully functioning website. I mean, a competitive website, not a piece of shit, excuse my French, but an actual compelling website in under an hour. So also, we make it easier for if you have a local business, maybe you have like a store or a marketplace. We're making it easier for your local customers to visit your business with local search engine optimization, so that you can become visible on your customers' Google Maps search. So just by building your website on Brandesk Hosting, we're going to get you in to Google Maps search so that people can find your business just like they find everything else on Google Maps. We can improve your search engine optimization with dynamic keyword suggestions and conveniently track your rankings so that you can see improvements in real time. And that's not an extra cost. That's not an extra fee. It's built in. We connect you to Google Analytics, and Google Analytics is the best for providing analytics for your website. So we connect you directly with Google Analytics, and you get, I'm talking like laser focused details on what's going on with your website. And we offer suggestions on how to make it better. Sell as many products as you need directly from your online store with a dedicated e-commerce system connected directly to your site. So we know you have options. There's Shopify. We have our own dedicated e-commerce system, which you can optionally choose to use and sort of build your store in that system and then connect that to your site. So when people want to go to your store, they just click it and opens up the store. You can do that. We also have the ability to add products directly to your site without using the e-commerce system, just sort of a built-in simple PayPal integration. For some people, if you're selling 3 or 4 or 5 products, that's all you really need. But if you're selling a whole catalog, maybe you'll want our e-commerce system. So you can make that choice. The next benefit is email marketing campaigns that rival the industry top dogs. And I'm talking MailChimp, Zoho. We offer a beautiful email marketing platform that's connected directly to your website. So you can build your email marketing right inside of Brandesk Hosting and get that launched just as easily as you could anywhere else.
So you can build your difference while building your email.
Yes. You can. Oh, thank you. That was good. Thank you for that.
There was something earlier in one of the earlier conversations where I was like, I could bring that in there.
Yeah, that was good. Feel free to use that again, actually. I love it. Built-in social media management tools straight from your dashboard. So if you're the type that wants to manage your social media but don't feel like logging into all your different social media accounts, you don't have to. When you have your site built on Brandesk Hosting, you can manage your social media directly from your Brandesk Hosting dashboard. I mean, that is brilliant. Last but not least, you can let your customers and audience book appointments and even order services directly with you. Now, I'll tell you, before we invented Brandesk Hosting, I'll be honest with you, I was one of those people that had to have a separate email app, a separate calendar service just for the purpose of booking appointments, and then a separate service just for the purpose of arranging a time for people to then book appointments. So I used to have all these different services that you had to kind of go through to find a time to book an appointment and then to book the appointment and for it to show up on my calendar. Now, in some respects, we're still using some of those services because they kind of make sense in the grand scheme of things for how we've built Brandesk. But wouldn't it be great if all of that could just be integrated directly into your website. So we've brought those tools all into one place. And when you've built your site on Brandesk Hosting, you don't have to go and get a separate email, a separate calendar system, scheduling system, because we've built that functionality for you directly into your site. Your customers won't leave your website when they want to schedule an appointment with you. They just do it on your website. It's brilliant. And last but not least, blogging. And honestly, it is last because it's kind of expected. But I think we've perfected the blogging experience to the degree that it's got everything you can imagine of, everything you will need for a blogging experience. But what makes it really, I think, extra special is how easy it is to do directly from your phone. Whether you download the Brandesk app and log in to Brandesk Hosting from our app and just start managing your blog, or maybe you download your own app and start managing your blog directly from your own app on the App Store, or you just open up the browser, log into your site and manage your blog. All of that is real simple, easy to do, and built in to Brandesk Hosting. And I think a lot of people are really going to like it. So those are the perks and the benefits that we really wanted to emphasize. Thanks for giving me an opportunity to just quickly go through each one.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Build Your Difference. If you'd like to learn more about how Blue Artists can help you develop a distinguished brand that inspires and engages a growing audience, then please visit us at www.blue-artist.com and be sure and subscribe to our monthly podcast for the latest tips and trends in brand development and marketing. And remember, you're not just making a brand, you're making a difference. Start building yours today.